Um, that says history, but I'm just going to read you a passage. But what it's really meant to say is his story. Okay. This is a real-life story of an engineer, John Roebling, building the Brooklyn Bridge in New York, USA, back in 1870. The bridge was completed in 1883, after 13 years. In 1883, a creative engineer named John Roebling was inspired by an idea to build a spectacular bridge connecting the New York with the New Island. However, bridge building experts throughout the world thought that this was an impossible feat and told Roebling to forget the idea. It just could not be done. It was not practical. Roebling could not ignore the vision that he had in his mind for this bridge. He thought about it all the time, and he knew deep in his heart that it could be done. He had just had to share the dream with someone else. After much discussion and persuasion, he managed to convince his son, Washington, an up-and-coming engineer, that the bridge in fact could be built. Working together for the first time, the father and son developed concepts of how it could be accomplished and how the obstacles could be overcome with great excitement and inspiration and the headiness of the wild challenge before them. They hired their crew and began to build their dream bridge. The project started well, but when it was only a few months underway, a tragic accident on the site took the life of John Roebling. Washington was also injured and left with a certain amount of brain damage, which resulted in him not being able to talk or walk. We told them so, crazy men and their crazy dreams. It was foolish to chase wild visions. Everyone had a negative comment to make and felt that the project could be scrapped, since the Roeblings were the only ones that knew how the bridge could be built. In spite of his handicap, Washington was never discouraged and still had a burning desire to complete the bridge, and his mind was still as sharp as ever. He tried to inspire and pass on his enthusiasm to some of his friends, but they were too daunted by the task. As he lay in hospital in his room, with the sunlight streaming through the windows, a gentle breeze blew the flimsy white curtains apart, and he was able to see the sky and the tops of the trees outside just for a few moments. It seemed that there was a message for him not to give up. Suddenly, an idea hit him. All he could do was move one finger, and decided to make the best use of it. By moving this, he slowly developed a code of communication with his wife. He touched his wife's arm with that finger, indicating to her that he wanted her to call engineers again. Then he used the same method of tapping her arm to tell the engineers what to do. It seemed foolish, but the project was underway. For 13 years, Washington tapped out his instructions with his finger on his wife's arm until the bridge was finally completed. Today, the spectacular Brooklyn Bridge stands in all its glory as a tribute to the triumph of one man's indomitable spirit and his determination not to be defeated by the circumstances. It was also a tribute to the engineers and their teamwork and to the faith in a man who knew what to do. The bit of the assembly that I really want you to take note of is this bit here. Perhaps this is one of the best examples of a never say die attitude that overcomes a terrible physical handicap and achieves an impossible goal. Often, when we face obstacles in our day-to-day life, our hurdles seem very small in comparison to what many others have to face. The Brooklyn Bridge shows us that dreams that appear to be impossible are possible.
Walking to school can be a challenge in many parts of the world. The 57-year-old Young Koi and her granddaughter Tan, at the youth in southwest China, is truly grueling. The young girl has cerebral palsy and can't walk, so every morning for the last 3 years her grandmother has carried her the 5 kilometres to school, waited for her pair's route takes them over tough mountain roads. Diane frequently falls in the winter, but she gets up and carries on. The two have never been late, even though the walk takes around 2 hours on a good day. Tragically, the school has boarding facilities, but Tan can't use them because of her disabilities. It's estimated Jiang has carried Tan, now 7, over 10,000 kilometres, and she says she'll carry on as long as she can. The pair's plight has become well known in the region, and the local party have agreed to provide Tan with surgery to try and improve her condition.
I can't add to that, but there's just one comment that I want you to remember. She's never been late. Sacrifice and never been late. I'm conscious of the time, because this is Olympic year. I just want you to show you one more clip. Okay guys, last week we had prom, and life is a race, and you'll find that there will come a time when you'll have your prom and you'll go on and you make your mark in life. We as teachers and those who care for you are always there for you, but when that moment in time comes that you want to step over the line and you want to be winners, we will take a step back. We're always here to support you. And the theme of the assembly was, wish you were here. God, you're already here. You're at a place where you can make it count. Have a fantastic day. Thank you very much.